best thing about football season approaching is all of the food. It can be hard to decide which appetizer or dish to prepare, and it seems like year after year everybody brings the same old, same old. And it can be very intimidating to feed a large party. This is why buffalo chicken dip is one of my favorite things to make. I am requested to make it time after time for family gatherings. In preparation of this presentation, I conducted research of the nutritional value of the dip. According to Authority Nutrition's website, there are numerous benefits to eating low carb, and this dip just happens to fit the bill. A low carb diet can kill appetite, causing you to eat less and enhance weight loss. The same source also says this is the most effective treatment against metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is a collection of symptoms like abdominal obesity and high blood pressure. Now, low carb lifestyle or not, this is a great addition to any occasion. Buffalo chicken dip is not only a delicious appetizer, but it is simple and easy to make. First, I'm going to explain to you the ingredients and the supplies needed to prepare the dish. Then I'm going to demonstrate the mixing. Then we'll talk about the cooking instructions and some alternatives that you can add to the recipe. I don't want you to mess up on the preparation, so I will begin at the beginning with the supplies and ingredients. The supplies are very limited, and most are found in a common household. First, you're going to need a slow cooker, measuring cups. You're going to need a mixing bowl and a rubber spatula. The mixing bowl is optional, as you can just mix the ingredients in a slow cooker if you prefer. According to all recipes, there are only 5 ingredients that go into this recipe. First, you're going to need 2 10-ounce cans of chicken, 1 cup of ranch dressing, 1.5 cups of shredded cheddar cheese, 2 blocks of cream cheese, and 3/4 cup of buffalo sauce. I prefer to use Frank's buffalo sauce when making this recipe, but there are alternatives that we can use, and we'll discuss those later. Before we begin the mixing process, make sure to spray your slow cooker. This could save you ample time in the cleanup afterwards. The mixing is simple. You want to start with the chicken. Place your chicken into your bowl or the slow cooker if you prefer. Be sure that you are using drained and fully cooked chicken. Now, we all know the dangers of eating undercooked chicken. According to SF Gates' website, undercooked chicken can be contaminated with pathogens that cause foodborne illnesses. One of the most common bacterial illnesses of undercooked chicken is salmonella poisoning. Up to 25% of chickens can carry the bacterial illness. That's why it's important to cook your chicken to an internal temperature of 165 degrees. The symptoms of salmonella poisoning can occur 12 to 36 hours after the contaminated chicken is consumed. Some of the symptoms can include diarrhea, vomiting, cramps, headaches, nausea, or fever. Therefore, you want to be sure you're using fully cooked chicken. Now back to the mixing process. We're going to add a few cold ingredients. In your bowl, or your slow cooker if you prefer, add your cup of ranch dressing. Use a rubber spatula to scrape out the excess ranch from the bottom of your measuring cup. I prefer to use Hidden Valley Ranch as it makes the flavor of the dip a little bit richer. I have used store brands before. Next, you're going to add 2 blocks of cream cheese. Then we're going to add 1.5 cups of shredded cheese. Now, for cheese lovers, you can't add more than 1.5 cups. Oftentimes, I add a whole bag, which amounts to 2 cups of shredded cheese. Finally, we're going to add the pepper sauce. This is something that you can accommodate to your preference for the dip. The more you add, the hotter the dip. The less you add, the more mild the dip. The next step is to stir the ingredients. I recommend using a heavy spoon as the ingredients are very thick and can be difficult to stir. The mix will become easier to stir once the cheese begins to melt in your slow cooker. The last step is heating the mixture. we're going to transfer it to the slow cooker if you prepared it in a mixing bowl like I did. Using your rubber spatula, place it into your slow cooker. You will want to level out the dip to ensure that the cooking is even. Make sure you stir the dip numerous times while it is cooking to prevent burning on the sides. Now, if you want to speed up the cooking process, you could cook the mixture on a stovetop and heat it thoroughly, and then transfer it into your slow cooker. Now it is ready to be served. Some crowd favorites are celery and tortilla chips to use for dipping. All recipes states to use chicken-flavored crackers, which I have never tried. That's it. It's that simple. The dip is great following the recipe, but there are some adjustments that you could make. So let's talk about some of the common alternatives you could make. You could prepare the chicken yourself at home. Most of the time when I do that, I use 2 chicken breasts and I boil it on a stovetop in water. If you do not want to boil the chicken breast, you could purchase a rotisserie chicken from your local deli and debone it and then add it to the recipe. Other alternatives that you could use, or you could substitute sour cream for half of the cream cheese, or you could substitute blue cheese dressing for the ranch dressing. I've run across a couple alternatives of this recipe from time to time, and some additional ingredients I have found is green onion or blue cheese crumbles. The options really could be endless for this dip. So in conclusion, you did it. An amazing, quick, and easy dip that's acceptable for many occasions. I shared with you the ingredients for the dip. I showed you step-by-step preparation, and I listed many alternatives for you to use in the recipe. Now I can't promise you that your choice of dipping ingredient is also going to be low carb, but everybody deserves a treat now and then. That's all for coming to my presentation.